Hey guys, Deathbyphiw here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something that, I haven't talked about in a while, but I'm getting a little bit worried. Is Overwatch 2 actually getting good again? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Stick around. So I was poking around on Steam the other day and I saw some posts on the Blizzard forums talking about Overwatch and reaching its 30k average of players peak on Steam. And I get it. Steam isn't where most of the players are playing the game, right? Maybe 10-15% of the players are on PC are probably using Steam. But if you look at the graphic that I'm going to show is here, you could see that steadily, like obviously we hit a low in 2023 and like the player base was super low on Steam, average player base, and it recently moved to Steam. It wasn't there from the get-go, and then it's been steadily climbing month over month as things have been changing and progressing to make the game better, in my personal opinion. It's still not great, it's still not there where we need to be, but there's been a 30k average peak on Steam. And just thinking about it, obviously from statistics, console is probably a big portion of the player base today. I would argue and say maybe about half the players who play Overwatch 2 are playing on console. So in general, we could probably say somewhere in the range of like 15% of the players on PC are actually playing Overwatch from Steam. I don't play Overwatch from Steam. I've always played it from Blizzard, from that app. I have not downloaded Steam to do that. Like I haven't downloaded Overwatch from Steam. I do have Steam though, and maybe 50% of our players are PC, and I would say if there's about 30k average of players playing on Steam, you could argue and say there's close to like 150k average players on PC alone, and then half the player base is console players. We're probably in the range of a couple 100,000 active players on Overwatch, and it seems to be climbing. Anything with statistics will show a trend. I always say stats never lie. So what's been going on? Why the change? Why the uptick in players in this game? So I'll start off with right off the bat. This past season, the devs said new heroes are free. There's no more pay to win aspect of the game. I remember when the MAGA meta happened, that was like a new low for Overwatch. They went away on vacation for the holidays, and for 2 weeks the game remained untouched and MAGA was just absolutely dominating. I mean, I saw content creators like Samito. He did MAGA run to top 500 or GM, and he was 30-1 on MAGA. 30-1, and that is ridiculously broken and shows how crazy it was. And we were all complaining, like, what if I don't want to buy the battle pass? I get it, it's only $10, so some people don't feel like buying the battle pass that season. I don't buy it every season, I buy it some seasons. So there's no more battle pass paywall. All heroes are free, and I think that's great, especially for a free to play game. Like, it just adds that, it removes the whole aspect of that pay to win aspect. If there's a new hero, let's say like Venture is pretty good in the current meta, well, if you don't have her and somebody's playing her on DPS, well, you're shit out of luck. And with tanks being like very important in the game, when MAGA came out, sorry, my tank doesn't have MAGA, you just instantly lost the game. So this is huge. That's, I think, is great for the game that they moved in that progression towards that and changed that. We've never had this really in Overwatch 1 so much, but there's exciting and an interesting event game modes that have been released, and also they're allowing us to play test game modes. So I think of Mirror Watch being an event game mode. I actually kind of found Mirror Watch fun and interesting. I know it doesn't have all the heroes, but the fact that they have these new abilities or different changes to the game, that maybe these abilities existed at some point and they've given it to other heroes. I think it's an idea for devs to see, like, how do these play out in Mirror Watch? How do people like it? Are they OP? Are they good changes? Are they bad changes? To maybe either rework current heroes, and they use us as user acceptance testing, UAT testing, to figure out what works and what doesn't, or maybe for future heroes, some abilities that might just be great for the game and real interesting and exciting for a new hero to have. So not saying that that's what's going to come from it, but I think they're figuring things out, and the devs have been letting us play test this. The same thing goes for Clash. That game mode obviously is going to require a lot of updates and changes. I did a video critiquing it, and I get it. That's the point of it. They're allowing us to play test it. So they're not just moving it into production and bringing it into the competitive aspect of the game. They're letting us as players test it out, feel it out, critique it, give criticism. And then the devs are then going back, looking at that, and they're changing things and reworking things and make it, more optimal for their player base experience. I think that's just an amazing thing to do. That is just great for a player base to get that kind of reaction and support from devs. So speaking of the dev team, communicative and responsive dev team, so they're listening to the community. At least, obviously they're listening to us, right? They're not changing everything and every aspect of the game to make it the way that we want it. We don't technically know everything that we want, we're players, but they're trying to listen to us, right? They're trying to hear us out. So we got to give them some credit where credit is due. They're putting out patches quickly. They're doing retail patch notes to fix things, the Orisa nerf, the Venture nerf, to try and balance the game. They're putting out mid-season patches. They're not waiting weeks and months on end to change things and to fix things. They're putting out updates. They're not trying to let the game get stale, and they're trying to fix stuff in the game. As difficult as it may be, and whatever we agree or disagree with the changes, they're doing it. They're trying to make quick updates and change things. There's major things coming to the game for tanks. They're changing that whole aspect, whether, once again, if we agree or disagree with those changes, they're still making the changes to try and make tank feel better and more fun. Whether it makes it broken or not, we'll see. Whether it's the right thing to do, we'll see. But I have a little bit of more faith in the dev team to, fix it and change it back if something just doesn't work. They still haven't removed Sombra from the game though. So I don't know. I'm just kidding. Some other updates that they added to the game, the GFN support, so GeForce Now. So this allows people who are playing on Mac to no longer have to use some sort of third-party workaround software like Whiskey or Crossover to play Overwatch 2 without, the game basically crashing. So GeForce Now support allows them to more seamlessly play the game without issues, and then also allows you to play the game at an optimal level, to try and get the correct graphic settings, have the drivers download what they need to download to support Overwatch 2. And I think that's great for the game. Adding little things like that and moving things to GeForce Now just ultimately helps out the game tremendously as far as support goes, and as far as being able to play the game at an efficient level. Another thing is they've been taking console players more seriously. There's a Ziming ban. How long have console players complained about people cheating and zimming, especially higher elo on console? I'm not a console player myself, so respect to you console players. I think you need to get more support and not feel like you're the ugly stepsister, stepchild, whatever, just being neglected. You now are being taken seriously, and it's been a long time coming, and they talked about it, and they said they wanted to do this the right way, and they figured out how to detect zimmers, and they effectively banned it from the game. If you do zim, you will get a full account ban. You'll get some sort of permaban or whatnot and not be able to play the game, or they'll put you in with other zimmers in the same game on console, so there's no unfair advantage. So I think this is great. This is another step in the right direction, helping out the console player base. If they arguably make up half the player base in this game, and it should be taken seriously. So that is a massive change and a great change and a good step in the right direction. So all in all, whether we agree or disagree with the changes, whether they're good or bad for the game, changes are still happening, and they're still coming at a rapid pace, and the dev team is trying and doing their best to try and make our player base happy. We can argue for a lot of different things, and we could say a lot of negative or positive things about the game, but I'm starting to feel optimistic for the future of Overwatch. And that's probably why I'm worried, right? I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling that Overwatch 2 is trending in the right direction. We're not there yet, right? We got a long way to go, but I feel like the game in itself is getting slightly better and has been getting slightly better for a little bit. Changing the meta, changing things in the game, and you know, making it better and more fun for players to play the game, providing more support, listening, being communicating to and being responsive to the community, I think is all great for the game. And they're making changes, and they're working towards making changes to make this game better, as I stated. So that's why I'm worried. I'm getting this feeling of being hopeful, right? Like, I'm a lifelong New York Knicks fan, and they're moved on to the second round in the NBA playoffs. And I'm hopeful as a Knicks fan, although I've had like years of just terrible Knicks play. And that's how I feel about Overwatch. I've had years, we've all had years of terrible Overwatch play, and we were hopeful for Overwatch 2, and there was a steep decline, and all that hope just fell out the window. Like, what happened? And now it's starting to come back, and I'm scared, I'm worried. So that's where I'm at right now. You know, if you haven't already, make sure to like this video, share this with a friend, leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree or disagree? What are your thoughts on how Overwatch 2 is progressing now at its current state? Is it getting better or worse in your personal opinion? And most of all, subscribe to my YouTube channel, clicking that little subscribe button down there and making sure the bell icon's on so you get notifications. It really does help me out tremendously. And as always, happy gaming.